offices are, and we are protesting what has been happening in this district for the last about a month now, maybe a little less. For some context, John Lewis ran in the primary to be on the ballot in November as the Democratic nominee for his seat, and he passed away, unfortunately, in July. So he won the primary, and instead of the Democrats allowing us to have a vote to decide who will replace him on the ballot in November, they decided to, by their executive committee, decide who they were going to put on the ballot in his place and not hear the voters of the 5th District. To me, as a 5th District member, I'm very upset about that. That's why we're here. But also, it's a slap in the face to John Lewis and his legacy by fighting for voting rights. So that's why we're here. We're going to show you a little bit of what's going on, and then we're going to get on the bullhorn.
Executive committee members who decided what you're doing is no different.
Right.
And you can't point the finger at them and what has transpired is the point history and, suppression of voters.
Send me that list.
All right, you ready to roll?
So I don't have to find let's get off the street.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me? Thank you all for being here. We're assembled here today to bring awareness and highlight the travesties and injustices that have been undertaken by the Democratic Party of Georgia. When this party executive committee selected a replacement nominee for Congressman John Lewis's seat in the November election, they did so without any public input, without consulting anyone in the district. And 45 individuals who do not live in the district chose for us. We were stripped and robbed of an ability for a fair fight to decide the Democratic nominee who will represent this historic district. Our beloved Congressman John Lewis served for more than 34 years. He did so after a hard-fought election against Julian Bond in 1986, where he was not the favored candidate. He was a titan who fought for civil rights and voting rights. He helped usher in the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which we celebrated the 55th anniversary a couple of days ago. We have been robbed by the Democratic Party of the right to vote for our own elected representation in the historic Congressional District 5. This is a problem in a universe and a democracy that is stealing the rights of the people and stealing the rights of voters. Voter suppression anywhere is a threat to democracy everywhere. And we as Democrats cannot hold Republicans, Governor Kemp, or Secretary of State Raffensperger to free and fair elections if we ourselves as Democrats do not ensure that we have free and fair elections. It is highly problematic. And the people who claim to hold up fair fights are the very people who are stripping and robbing the voters of this district of the very right to do just that. We cannot, on the one hand, collect $5 million from Bloomberg for fair fight and to protect voters' rights and voters' rights and to stab out voter suppression when we take that $5 million into the very thing that we say we are against. It is pure hypocrisy. And we are here today to stand in front of the Democratic Party of Georgia's headquarters to call them out, to call a spade, and to call a thing a thing. Our democracy needs leaders who are not beholden to establishments, not beholden to the 1%, not beholden to Democrats or elitists who plan to push down working class people. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. 40 million people are out of work. We have a Congress that has not figured out how to extend unemployment rights. We have millions on the brink of eviction and on utility shutoffs. And our Democratic Party did not adopt a platform of Medicaid or Medicare for all. At what point do the people deserve basic human rights in our democracy? At what point is it the responsibility of Democratic leadership to deliver for the very voters who show up and show out for them every single time? Many times those voters are African American, they are women, and we are not seeing that representation represented equally, fairly, inclusively, or justly. We are a coalition of diverse individuals of all backgrounds, of all political ideologies who simply want a fair democracy and free and fair elections. And we stand here unified and in solidarity on today to call out the Democratic Party the same way that we call out Republicans, the same way that we call out Governor Kemp, the same way that we call out Secretary of State Raffensperger. Voter suppression is voter suppression, and the voters' rights have been suppressed in the 5th Congressional District. Thank you all for being here today.
Aya, you are awesome. All right, thank you everybody for being here. I just want to talk really quickly about why I'm here. My name is Lacey Delane. I am a District 5 resident. I, in the last year or two, basically have just become politically aware, really, and active and paying attention. And, I really can't let something like this happen and not say something about it. It's sad that voter suppression is happening, but then whenever it happens in your backyard, that's whenever you start to really pay attention and realize what's going on. And that is a big problem, and it's not fair. I was watching some footage of John Lewis's life and some of the things that he did as a young activist. And I was so inspired by who he is and what he did. And I said to myself, there's no way I can let what just happened happen without saying something about it. And the reality of the situation is we as District 5 voters have been robbed of the opportunity to select who will be the Democratic nominee in the place of John Lewis on the November ballot. It's not fair, it's not right, and it's not democracy. And we can say that we live in a democracy, but then when we take away the rights of the people to choose, then we're not living in a democracy anymore. So we're calling for the Democratic Party of Georgia to right their wrongs. We're calling for restitution. We're calling for us to all collectively think about who we are and what we're doing and how we're acting and how we're living and how we're functioning as a society so that we can take care of people. People are the most important thing, not businesses and organizations. We're tired of backroom deals. We're ready for the people's voices to be heard. We're ready for the people who maybe don't know how to use their voice, for their voices to be heard. And that's why we're here today. Thank you for being here, and we want to hear from other people in the district. We'll go to Barrington now.
Hello everyone. My name is Barrington Martin II, and I am simply here for the people. The people deserve to be heard. The people deserve a fair democracy that they know their voices will be heard. We are tired of the party politics. We are tired over the politics that are over the people. People over politics, election, not selection. Election, not selection. Election, not selection.
Election, not selection.
Election, not selection.
Election, not selection.
Thank you.
Election, not selection. 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 Power to the people. 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 Power to the people.
Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate you. You got